we now have a fourth match set for WrestleMania, that being the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal. Any quick Google search will tell you how horrendous of a person the Fabulous Moolah is. One of the biggest pieces of shit in the wrestling business was Fabulous Moolah. From the prostitution ring that she ran during her career, to paying people off to make sure that she won and retained her championship, held on to that belt for as long as she did, for 30 years, to shaming black women's wrestlers, to bullying people, to not giving people a shot. She was the exact opposite of what the women's revolution, quote-unquote, is all about. She was the farthest thing from being a pioneer for the women. In what way was she a pioneer for women's wrestling? What, because she held a fucking belt for 30 years? Give me a break. Awful. Absolutely awful. And I saw someone tweet about this, I think on Tuesday, joking, I mean half joking, but half serious, where it's like, WWE puts out this nonsense about the reason they don't want Chyna, or they, for now, won't put Chyna in the Hall of Fame, is because of her porn career. What if a kid goes on Google and types up Chyna, and they're presented with her porn career? We can't have that. What about the fucking Fabulous Moolah? What about this piece of shit? And they Google her name to find out all the atrocious things that she has been accused and confirmed of doing during her time in the company, and even before the WWE, and probably after too. Just an absolutely dreadful human being. Why the fuck you would ever want to associate yourself with that piece of shit, I have no idea. Now, I know they've acknowledged her before, they've glorified her before, and that's all fine and dandy. But naming a battle royal after her, when you have so many other women you could do that with, whether it's Mae Young, Trish Stratus, even fucking Chyna herself, that would make more sense. You have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then you have the Chyna Battle Royal. I feel like that's a perfect fit. Why the fucking Fabulous Moolah? I was so happy when they called the Mae Young Classic the Mae Young Classic, because it had nothing to do with the Fabulous Moolah. Now we get this. It's such a slap in the face, and what's even worse is that they're likely directing all these women that I'm sure are well aware of what this woman had committed during her career. All these awful, awful things that she did. I'm sure the women of WWE of today are aware of all of this. Yet they're still told by management, tweet something out about how great the Fabulous Moolah was, how she was so innovative for women's wrestling, how she was such a big pioneer for women's wrestling in WWE. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. From Ember Moon to Peyton Royce to Natalya, blowing smoke up this woman's ass like she's the fucking second coming of Jesus, was Fabulous Moolah, with the way they were playing her up on Monday's Raw and on Twitter. How she's like literally the greatest thing since sliced bread was the Fabulous Moolah, according to WWE and all these women's wrestlers in the company. It was just sickening to watch. Absolutely sickening. And they're not going to change it now. They should. The backlash has been off the charts over the last number of days. And I'm sure it will die down a little, because people just get used to it, but it does not take away from the fact about how such a slap in the face, how offensive and how horrendous it is to name one of your big women's matches that's supposed to be all about furthering this women's evolution. Naming it after such a vile human being, to me, is a step backwards for women's wrestling.